All right, today we're jumping into a really fantastic leadership fable by Patrick Lencioni. It gets right to the core of why so many leaders, even really smart ones, end up failing. And here's the twist. It's not about their skills. It's all about their motive.
I mean, the book kicks off with this line right here, and it is such a zinger, it really sets the whole stage. What Lencioni is saying is that how you lead is totally, 100% dictated by why you decided you wanted to be a leader in the first place.
And to show us what he means, he doesn't just give us a bunch of boring theories. No, he tells a story about a CEO who is, to put it mildly, in way over his head.
So, meet Shay Davis. This guy has finally made it to the top. He's the CEO. But just 6 months in, his company is basically flatlining. He spent 20 years climbing that corporate ladder, but now that he's actually in the corner office, he's, avoiding the really hard, annoying parts of the job. So in a moment of sheer desperation, Shay reaches out to the consultants that his biggest, most successful competitor uses. But then something weird happens. He doesn't get a call from some consultant. Nope, he gets a call from his rival himself. This guy, Liam, who says, "Hey, I'll tell you all my secrets, for free." So Liam shows up, and he does not mess around. There's no small talk. He immediately starts holding up a mirror to Shay's leadership style, and he starts with this deceptively simple little exercise.
Liam just walks up to Shay's whiteboard and says, "Hey, just list the most important things you do every day." Sounds like a pretty standard consulting gig. So Shay writes down the usual stuff. Reviewing financials, marketing, managing the team, all the typical CEO duties.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting. Liam then asks Shay to rank all those activities on 2 different scales. How much he enjoys them and how truly important they are. And the result? Well, look at this. It's fascinating. The disconnect is huge. He rates managing and leading as the single most important thing he does, but it's the thing he enjoys the absolute least. And boom, Liam calls him on it right away. See, Shay is spending all his time on the stuff he's comfortable with, the things he was good at before he became the CEO. He's actively avoiding the real, messy, human work of leadership, and that's exactly why his company is stuck.
And that disconnect, right there, leads us straight to the central, huge idea of this book. The 2 fundamental motives for wanting to be a leader. And, surprise, surprise, they're often in direct conflict. This all boils down to one simple but honestly kind of brutal question that just cuts through all the noise. Why do you actually want this job? It forces Shay to finally confront a truth about himself that he's probably been running from. And this is where we get the 2 mindsets laid out so clearly. On one side, you've got reward-centered leadership. These are the people who see the top job as a prize, a reward for all their years of hard work. They kind of feel like they've earned the right to do the fun stuff. But then on the other side, you have responsibility-centered leaders. They see leadership as a duty, a service. They accept that the job is about doing whatever the organization needs them to do, especially, when it's tough or thankless. So here's the bottom line. If your motive is the reward, you will naturally, almost subconsciously, avoid or abdicate, as Lencioni puts it, all the parts of the job that don't feel good. You'll delegate the hard stuff, the boring stuff, and what you're left with is a giant leadership vacuum that just sucks the life out of the company. So, what does this leadership vacuum actually look like in the real world? Well, Lencioni identifies 5 very specific responsibilities that reward-centered leaders almost always run away from, simply because, they're not fun. And here they are. Take a look at this list. There is nothing glamorous here, right? Developing your people, managing them closely, having those awkward, difficult talks, running a really tight meeting, and repeating yourself over and over and over. These are the mundane, often uncomfortable tasks that are the real work of a leader. A reward-focused leader sees these as chores. A responsibility-focused leader knows this is the job. And oh man, you can just hear the excuses, can't you? Team development. That's too touchy-feely. Managing senior people? Come on, that's just babysitting. The logic seems to make sense on the surface, but it's totally flawed. These aren't optional extras. These are the very things that only the leader can do to keep the organization healthy and moving forward. So this forces a complete reframing of what a leader's job actually is. It's not about enjoying the perks or having the big title. It's about willingly, even cheerfully, embracing the hard work that nobody else can or should be doing. Think about it. A great leader cannot delegate building their own leadership team. They can't outsource having the toughest conversations. They can't ask someone else to set the tone and demand excellence in meetings. These are the non-negotiable responsibilities that come with the territory.
And I love this idea Lencioni throws out there. The CEO should also think of themselves as the CRO, the Chief Reminding Officer. Your job is to repeat the most important messages so many times that you get sick of hearing your own voice, because that's how long it takes for the message to truly sink in for everyone else.
This quote from Liam just perfectly sums up the whole paradox of responsibility-centered leadership. It's about embracing it all: the good, the bad, the lonely, the social, the praise, and the pain. And doing it with pride, because you're serving a purpose that's bigger than you.
And that really just leaves us with the one big question we all have to ask ourselves, whether we're running a Fortune 500 company or just a small project team. What is your motive? Are you in this for the reward, or are you in it for the responsibility? Because your answer to that one question is going to determine pretty much everything.